Age 730. After a decade-long war between the Saiyans and the Tuffles find themselves on the losing end of the battle. Knowing the Saiyans will wipe them out with their brute force, the Tuffles use what's left of their scientific prowess to create a parasitic life form capable of one day exacting revenge on the Saiyan race. Their lead scientist, Dr. Raichi, manages to complete his hatred amplification device Hachiyak with his dying breath. Hachiyak is launched into space with Raichi's remains still inside. Age 767. After managing to absorb both androids 17 and 18, Cell makes short work of the newly powered-up Vegeta and Trunks. Trunks surrenders and accepts his fate, but Cell has bigger plans and decides to not only host a tournament, but give Trunks and the others plenty of time to prepare. Cell departs to announce his tournament, the Cell Games, to the world. Shortly after, Goku and Gohan exit the hyperbolic time chamber, having mastered the Super Saiyan form and opting to stay transformed indefinitely. What's going on?
Oh man, I think the time machine sent me to the wrong reality. Where am I?
Where or when?
Yes.
Not long before the birth of Vegeta and Goku, the Saiyan race found themselves in a civil war with the Tuffles, another native species of planet Vegeta.
The Tuffles, or Tsufurujins, weren't known so much for their strength as their intelligence. They made great strides with technology that would eventually be assimilated into the Frieza Force, and used in gears such as Scouters, which would ironically end up being worn by the Saiyans themselves.
Knowing the end of his people was near, the Tuffles scientist Dr. Raichi developed a device specifically designed to avenge his people. This device amplified hatred and negative energy, of which the Tuffles now had plenty. He called this device the Hachiyak.
Nearly 4 decades later, while the Z Fighters prepared for the Cell Games, a mysterious gas starts to consume the planet. Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Trunks, and Piccolo decide to investigate.
They soon find a machine that seems to be emitting the toxin, but are quickly interrupted by familiar but less than welcome guests. Frieza, Cooler, Slug, and Turles have seemingly returned. A battle ensues and the Z Fighters can't seem to gain any ground. Even if blasted to dust, their enemies can regenerate.
The battle turns back to their favor when Bulma arrives with a flying car full of Hoi Poi capsules. She has developed an antidote for the gas, which not only literally clears the air, but also allows the villains of old to be easily defeated. The Z Fighters now set their sights on the source of the machines, the vessel containing Hachiyak.
Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans is closer in proximity to other films than any before it, somehow taking place between Broly and the Cell Games. Once again, Gohan is in Super Saiyan form but hasn't reached Super Saiyan 2.
Goku is also still alive, meaning it has to be before the Cell Games, but after training in the hyperbolic time chamber. And speaking of Goku, he compares final form Hachiyak to Broly in terms of power. This not only gives us the movie placement in the timeline, but also creates a strong case for the movies all being connected.
Between the mention of Broly and the return of the old villains, as well as them being recognized by the Z Fighters, we have references to over half of the movies before it. The only non-movie villain was Frieza, but even before Resurrection F, he existed in the movie universe. Otherwise, who did Cooler have to avenge?
Both versions of this film are entertaining in their own right, but they're also among the easiest to disprove. But it makes up for it by being nearly definitive proof in the movies being their own connected timeline.
And don't forget Trunks' hair is short, but he has the armor Bulma made, so it definitely took place between his 2 rounds in the chamber.
You really like using clothes and hair to prove your points, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of a problem.
And that's why Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans can't happen.